Hello and welcome to VA Tech Work. So today we are going to continue building this full stack blood donation application, and this is the last video of this full series of this project. So by now you have learned a lot about this project, and you have seen how you can be able to at least solve a real world problem. For this one, for example, blood donation, you can create also similar project. So another thing is that we are going to end up this series by looking at the authentication. And by authentication, we are going to use Redux Toolkit, and also Redux Persist. So if I scroll down here and to this link for the admin, and when I click on it, you will be able to be redirected here to login. And here is where you can be able to enter your email and also the password. After that, when you click here, it should direct you back to the admin side, and where the admin can be able to control the application and be able to see other parts. Also, I'm going to show you how you can protect your route, although I touched that on later video. So also, if you don't understand what you are doing in this video, kindly go back and watch the other video, and you'd be able to understand what we are doing right here. So another thing is that don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, also like this video, and another thing is turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified the next time I upload a new video. So now let's get into the tutorial. So what you are going to do is that I'm going to open here, and I am going to go to my code, and here I can open another terminal. I'm going to click this plus sign here on the bottom right, and I'm going to navigate to my front end, and then here I'm going to install certain packages. For example, the first package that I'm going to install, let me check here. I have these packages. I had already created them here. So I'm going to copy this Redux toolkit, or this React Redux, and then I'm going to also make sure that I add this package, that is Redux toolkit, and also I'm going to install the other one for persist, because we want to persist our data even if the page for our page for our web here has been reloaded. So we have these three packages here that we want to install. So for the example, we install Redux here, React Redux, Redux Toolkit, and Redux Persist. So I'm going to enter here, and we are going to wait until our packages here have been installed, all of them. But what we can do is that we can continue as they are being, or they are being installed. So I'm going to come here to now the source, and I'm going to create a Redux. So let me just close the other folders here, for example, for the backend, and inside this source folder here, I'm going to create a Redux folder here, and this is where we are going to have different things. For example, we are going to add API calls here, so a file that is called API calls. So let me do that, or API call. So I have this API called API calls.js. I'm going to have another one that is store. So I'm going to have a store here.js, and then I'm going to have user I'm going to have a user Redux, because here we are going to use just for the authentication. If we had also other parts, if we wanted to create other Redux for other things, like maybe showing our products, or maybe donors, we could have already created a donors Redux here. So I'm going to close this, and also this store here, and also for this new donor here, we need to just close, and also for the donor here. So let me first of all concentrate also, and because here you can see also down here in the terminal that all packages have been installed. I'm going to push this down so that we can have a space where we can work in. So here I'm going to start by creating user Redux here. I'm going to create the store and then API calls. So here I'm going to first of all make sure that I have imported. Let me import create this rice here. So create slice from, I'm going to import create slice from at Redux. So at Redux toolkit here, and then let me get the create slice. So create slice here, I cannot be able to see it, so it's here. I'm going to import it like that, and then in here I'm going now to create a user slice. So user slice like that, and this one is from create slice like that, and then this one I'm going to have the as a function. I'm going to call it as a function, and then this function accept this object here. So the first thing that I need to make sure that I add is the name of my slice. So my slice here is that I'm going to add here is the user. So another thing is I'm going to have the like initial state. So for the initial state here, I'm going to add for this slice here, the initial state here, it will have a current user or the admin, which will be just null. I'm going to have another is fetching. So is fetching will be also is fetching here will be false, because when we are starting to fetch, it will be or in the current state it will be false. Another thing is that we are going to have error. So if we have error here also, we are going to show false. We are going to have error as false because this is the initial state. We have not started fetching, and that's why you can see if is fetching is false and also error is false. So another thing after this one here, after the initial state here and also after the name, we need to have the reducers. So or the functions here. So I'm going to have reducers, and already you can see the auto completion. So here I can be able to create now the functions that I want. So for this one, I'm going to have, for example, login start. So this is, I'm going to call it when I'm starting to log in. So this is, you are going to take the state. Let me just add it here. So this one will take the state here. So and then inside here, I'm going to first of all take the state, and then is fetching. So is fetching, I'm going to make that sure that is true, because now we are starting to log in. So I'm going to set it to true. Also here we are going to have the login success. So login success, yeah, this is another redux function. So this one we take state and also action. So here we are going to have this function here that is state. So I think it's okay here. Also here we need to add a comma here, and then inside here, when the login is success, what we are going to do is that we are going to have is state is state, and then is fetching, it will be false. Also we are going to have another one here, and for this one we are going to have the state and then current user. So you can be able to see the current user here, and the current user will be just action dot payload. So the data that is in the action and then payload here. So this you can see here the current user is null, and here we are going to set now the current user to action.payload or the data. So the state of the error here, so we are going to have the state.error, and this we are going to assign them to assign it to false. That means that there is no error that has happened because the login has been success. So now the third reducer, you can actually guess it, and this is login failure. So if the login fails, so we have this function here. So let me also have the state here. So this one will just also be state, and this one now will be for example here also we need to add this comma here, and this one I'm going to take just the state up here. So the state here will be just false, and another thing is also the error here will be false. So actually it should be true, because that means that login has failed and we can be able to access the state of the error here. So after that, now also the last one that you are going to have here is logout. So let me have the logout here, and this also will take the state. And then another thing is that inside here, okay, here I need to add this part here, or the comma. And then for the logout, I know you can now guess what you need to do here. So we need to take is fetching to be false. And also what we are going to do is that we are going to take the current user, this one, set.current user, and now because we have logged out, we need to make sure that it is null. That means that we have logged out from the system. So now after this, now we need to at least export this. So we need to and also here I think I can add the state for the error. So that means that we don't have error, I think so. So this one, state.error, before I forget. And this one we are going to set it to false, like that. So after that, now the other thing that you need to do is to export all of these reducers function here. So I'm going to add module, or just export const. So export const, and then here I can be able to actually specify. So for example, login failure, and then we are going to also have login start. So login start here, we are going to have after login start, we are going to have login success. So login success, and then also we can have now the logout. So you can be able to see it here. After that, we can be able to, this one will be from user slice dot action dot actions, like that. And then now down here, what we can do is now we can export by default. We can export default, and what we are going to export here by default is user slice, or user slice dot reducer, like that. So user reducer, actually it is user slice and then dot reducer, like that, and then that is complete now. So this one also, we don't have to have this equals here. So that is now user reducer. The other thing that we need to create here is that's the store, and this one we are not going to actually create from scratch, because this is a very, or something that I can explain. So I had already created the store here to save on time. So I'm going to copy this until here, and inside here I can paste this. So the first thing that you need to do is to import configure store here from Redux toolkit, and also now we can be able to import our user reducer that we have already created, that we have just created here in user Redux. The other thing is we are importing import persist store, persist reducer, flash, hydrate, this, all this here from Redux persist, and this is because we want to persist, and then we need to import storage from Redux persist, and then rib storage. This is because we need to persist the data. And then here the first thing that you need to create is this object that is called persist config, and this will just add key. You can call the key whatever you want. Mine, I have called it root, and then here I have created the version, which is 1, and then I have added the storage. So for this one here, I need to create a persist reducer, and to create persist reducer, you need to create this variable persist reducer, and then you can take now persist reducer as a function, and then you can be able to pass in now this persist config here. And then also you need to pass in the user reducer. And after that, now the other thing is to export and the variable store. So this one here, so this store is created using now the configure store, and then this configure store, you can already see here that is from Redux toolkit. So this configure store, and then this one we need to have the reducer, and then you can see here the reducer, we have assigned this user. Remember, the name of our store, or the name of our slice, is user. So we add here persisted reducer. But if we had also other, like for example, we have other slice like donor, we could already have added here, like donor and everything. So also the other thing is the last thing is midware here, and then we need to get default midware here, and then you add all this here, and then after that you need to export that. You need to export the store here, so export the persister, and then we can be able to export that. So after this, now we can create our API calls here. So in here we can be able to now create our API calls that will help us to make a request to our backend using Redux now. So here I'm going to first of all import. I want to import public request, and this is from request methods. You can be able to see it here. So I'm going to add .js. So this one is a public request here. Another thing is that I'm going to have to import now the reducers. So I'm going to import reducers from user reducer, this one. And what we are going to import here is a login failure, and then login start. So login start here, and also we are going to get the login success like that. And then now let's come here to now create a function here, and this function we are going to export it. So I'm going to start with export, and then const login. Here we are going to create as a arrow function. So this arrow function here, and this function we are going to pass in the dispatch, and also we are going to pass in the user here like that. So after this, now inside here we are going to, first of all, before anything else, we are going to dispatch now. We are going to dispatch login start. So login start like that. And then after that, now we can add here try catch, so that we can catch the error that we don't want, that can come through when we are logging. And then here I'm going to have const res, and then here I'm going to await, and that means I need to add a sync here. So async, and this one we are going to make a request to our backend. So I'm going to have a public request, and then dot post, and then here I'm going to make a request to auth, and then slash login. And also here I can be able to pass in now the user. We are going to send our user, and this means this is just email and password. And after that, now another thing that I can be able to do is now to dispatch, also dispatch now, and I'm going to call in the login success. So login success here. And if you remember now, for this login success here, we need to pass in now just the data. So just the data here. So if you check here in our user redux here, for the login success here, we are passing in now like the action here. So, and the action here have receives the state and also the action. So the action will be having a payload, which is the data, and that's why we are passing this res.data here. So this will just be information of that user. So here we can just be able to dispatch, and we can dispatch login failure. So let me do that. So dispatch login failure right there, and then I can save this. So let me format this. After that, let me save that, and also here I want to save this. So now there's one thing that I want to do, and that is make sure that we can use the Redux toolkit and also Redux in this application, and we can do that by adding it here in the entry point of our application. So here I need to import, first of all, various things. For example, here we need to import provider. So provider, and this one is from here is from React Redux. So React Redux, yeah, we need to get that. Also, the other thing that we need to import here is that we need to import the store. So let me import here the store from, need to import store from .redux, and then slash also the store. So you can see the store here, and we exported it. So here we can get the store. So you can see the store, and also we also exported the persister. So you can see if we come back here to the store, let me check here. For the store, you can be able to see that we exported the, actually exported the store here. So export this persister here. So let me just come back here, and then the other thing that I want to import here is the persister get. So import, and then here I'm going to import. So I'm going to import Redux, uh, Redux persister, Redux persist from Redux persist here, but also I want to get now integration and then React like that. And then here I want, from this part here, I want to import persist get like that. So another, the other thing that I want to do is to wrap this application here, and this application we are going to wrap it using provider and also persist git. So what we can do, I'm going to remove this React strict mode here like that, or even you can wrap it with also using, or even if the React strict mode is there. So here the first thing that I want to wrap this up here. So let me just remove it like that, and here I want to get now the provider. So provider like that from React Redux, and then here I also want to wrap it using persist get. So persist get, you can be able to see it here like that. And then this persist get, we need to add certain here we need to add props. So for example, loading here, we are going to have to add loading, which I'm going to set to none. Also, I'm going to get the persister here. We are going to the persister here, and then pass in the persister. This is just a prop, and then inside here is where I can add now the app like that. And then also the other thing is I want to format my code here like that. So I think this also I need to pass in the store here. So as a prop, so this one accept a prop called store, and this is where now we can be able to pass in the this store here. So I think everything is okay. I want to just remove this React here because we are not going to use it. And then now I want to reload and see if my application is working. So if I come back here to my application and it reloads, let's see if it is working or if there is any problem, because we have added now the React Redux. And for the React Redux, because it's just a library, you can be able to come to Redux toolkit here and be able to learn about how to use it and also how to persist the data. So this is, you can see the quick start here, and also you can just learn more about how to use this one or this package here. And also persisting, you can be able to search for persist, for example persist here. Yeah, you can be able to see Redux persist here, and you can read more about this documentation here. You can see how to use Redux persist to be able to persist your data. So, and this one is persist and hydration. So this one is persist and hydration. So you can be able to see everything here. So this is the documentation. You can come here and learn more about documentation. Can use JavaScript or TypeScript, and yeah, this is the documentations that you need to read if you don't understand Redux Toolkit. But even if you don't understand, you can go through with me and you'll be able to know how to use the Redux Toolkit and also Redux. So it has finished loading, and it is as if we don't have any error. So what we are going to do is just go to the login page. So let's go to the login page here, and the login is in the pages here, and we have the login. So here we only created the inputs. So for this input here, we are going to make sure that we can be able now to collect the data from the input here and be able to use it. So that means that can come here and make sure that we create a variable using state. So this one is the email, and then here I'm going to say set email like that, and then this is use state. This one will be first of all a state that doesn't have any error, or it doesn't have anything. Yeah, so I need also to import use state. So I think let me just come here and try and auto import. So from React like that, I'm going to also create another variable here for the password like that, and then here this one will be just set email, or set password, sorry, set password. And this one, the initial state will be just an empty text, so you can see it here. And then after that, now what we can do is to make sure that we can collect the data from this input. So to collect the data here, we use on change event. So on change event, I'm going to accept the event, and then we are going to set now the email like that, and then we pass in the event.target and then dot value. That means now we can be able to collect. When we type in this input for the email, we'll be able to get the data and will be set to email now. So for the password, the same here. So on change, and then here we can be able to have the event, and then we set now password. So when we set the password, we need to pass in the event.target and then dot value like that. And then the last thing is our button here. When you click it, we need to log in. So we need to first of all have here on click event, and then here we are going to have handle login like that. So I'm going to copy this handle login, and I'm going to create that function up here. So let me do that. So I'm going to come up here, and we are going to have here this handle login, and then now we can be able to set our to be able to log in here. So now this will be a very simple thing. So I'm going to first of all async, but even before that, I want to import several things. For example, I want to import navigate. So import here navigate, and we are going to get the navigate from React Router DOM. Another thing that I want to import here, because we need to use it, is we need to import use dispatch. So let me make sure that I import from React Redux here. So this one we are going to use dispatch like that. We are going to use a selector. We are going to import these two, and then the other thing that I want to have here is also we are going to import login from API calls. So import, we are going to import login here from Redux, and then API calls here. So let's come now to the login, and here I want to first of all accept the event, and then we are going to prevent default here. But this is not the must, especially for this new version of React. And then here I'm going to first of all check if I have email. and also if I have the password and password here like that, and then after that here let me just add this. So we need to try catch now. So try and then catch, and then here we can be able to have like first of all what we can do here, let me also create another variable for loading. So we are going to have loading here, and then this one also we are going to have set loading. This one will be use state, and this one will be false to start with, and then you can have to true when you want to start or when it is loading. So by start here we are going to start by setting the loading. So the loading here we can set now to true because we are starting to the process of logging in. So another thing is here we are going to await. So that means that we want here to be have a sync of which we have added. And then here we can have the login, and then we are going to pass the dispatch of which we have not created the dispatch. We need to create the dispatch here as a variable. So const dispatch, and this one we just only need to use dispatch from React Redux like that. So we are going to pass in the dispatch, and this one is from React Redux, and then here we can be able to pass in the email and password as our user and our password like that. And then after that, now if we have error here, we can just set the loading. So set the loading to be false like that. I think that is okay. So I'm going to first of all format this, and then here we have the loading here. So what we can do is that we want to make sure, so let me just make sure that when I come here, I can first of all check. Let me see. So let me see here. So I want to cut this, and then here I can add if loading. If loading, then actually it's not. We need to check if loading. We can set this to loading, and then we can show it is loading. But if not, then we need to just have a login like that. We just need to have a login text. So if I come back here also for my project, when it is successfully loaded or login, so we can set the set loading to be now false also. So like that. So let me, and then the other thing that I want to do, I want to make sure that I can see if the user have, we can get the information for the user. And by that, what we can do here is that I can be able to get the user now from the Redux when they have already been registered. We can, or when they have logged in using use selector. So use selector here, you can see we already imported it here. And then use selector here will help us to get the state, and then through the state we can now get the state dot user here like that, and then now we can get our user. So when I'm logging in, I'm going to make sure that I can console log here the user, and after that if it is successful, so we need also to make sure that we navigate to the admin side. So this will be a very simple task. So let me scroll up here, and then here in the after the button here, or inside the button also, like here we want to navigate. So after here I'm going to add, for example, if we have user dot current user, so like that, if we have the current user here, I'm going to use navigate. So navigate to, let me just come here, and I'm going to navigate to, so let me navigate to the admin. So I'm going to navigate to /admin like that. If we don't have the user, then do nothing. So like that. I think that's okay. Now we can try to log in. So let me do that. I think this is very okay. So now I can come up here, and one thing that I'm going to do is to inspect this and console log here to see if I have the that user here. So I'm going to use now the email here. So this is the email. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to copy that and paste it here. I'm going to also take in the password and paste it. So let me paste it here and then try and log in. So if when I log in here, you can be able to see that here you can see the current user is null, error is here you can see also the error is fetching is false, persist. I don't know why we are not able to log in. So I'm going to first of all make sure that I send this, and you can see here it is able to log in here. So I can try and log in again. So using this here. So if I have any here, so let me just make sure that I add the correct password. So like here, so let me just add the like that. Let me try and log in again. So I think now we don't have that. We are not able to see the user. We don't have the user. So I'm going to check what is the error, and then I'm going to come back and explain. So I have seen where the error is, but I'm not very sure why I had this error, and I was not able to get the email. The email was saying that is undefined. So what I've done is just I have created a new input here. So make sure that if you are getting the same error, make sure that you create this input here for the email, a new one, and repeat everything here, and you'll be able to get the result. So I'd already commented this part here. So let's see if we just here we just uncomment it and then go back to my application here. Let's see if now we can be able to log in. So I'm going to add the email here like that, and then I'm going to add the password like that for the admin. And after that, when I click on login here, you'll be able to see that we have been redirected to now this part where we have admin dashboard here like that. And so for example, also I want to log out, I can click here and be redirected to the logout, or be able to log out in our application, and that is what we are going to do. Let's see the functionality for log out. So I'm going to close this for the login here, and I want also to make sure that I remove this console log here, and also this one for the user right here, and I'm going to this part for the admin side. So I'm going to format this, and let me close this, and also this main here, API calls, and also reducer. I'm going to open the admin side here, and we can check on how we can be able to log out. So we have this part here with we have created the logout text here, and I'm going to create an on click event here, and add here handle login, like handle logout, sorry. And then after that, I can be able to make sure, let me just copy it like that. I'm going to copy it, and then up here, so let me scroll up here, and I want to remove this. I'm going to create this function here for log out, and then I can be able to import logout. Let me import logout here, logout from this one should have a, let me just make sure that I complete here so that I don't have any mistake. So here I can import this from Redux. So Redux here, and then from Redux, and then also from user Redux here. So let's see the logout. So you can see the logout here, and then after that I can have to import use dispatch. So use dispatch. Let me see. I don't have any auto completion. So use dispatch from. Now I'm going to get use dispatch from React Redux. So React Redux here, that, and then I want to also have the navigate. So get navigate. So this one is from React Router DOM. So use navigate. So then we have the use navigate here, and then navigate, and this is from now React Router DOM. So this one here, and then here I can be able to create now the dispatch, and this is from use dispatch, like that. I'm going to have and now navigate. So let me create navigate here. So const navigate, and this is from now use navigate. So use navigate here, call this function here, and now we can be able to use this here in my function. So I'm going to call dispatch, and I'm going to pass in the logout. So this function here, I'm going to call this logout, and then I'm going to use navigate so that I can navigate back to the login, like that, and like that. So to the login, and then I think that's okay now. So if I save this, and then I can be able to go back now, and then you can see now we are here. So after that, we can actually make sure that we add our email here again, .com, and I come here to now the password. I can be able to add the password, like that. And when I click login here, you can be able to see that it says login, and then afterward you can be able to see we have been directed to this part here. So what I want to do is that I want also to make sure that I can protect the route, because if I come back here and for example, if I come to the login here, the admin, you can see that we are not able to come to the login because already we have the user. So when I log out and then try and go to the admin here, you'll be able to see that we can also be able to access the admin here, and that is not right because we are logged out. So we want to protect this route. So I'm going to make sure that let me just come here to the login. I want to get the user. So login here. I want to get this use selector here. Let me just also open the app.jsx here where we have our routes here, and I want to make sure that I protect the route here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to the login. So let me just open the login here, and I don't want how it is opening on the same page. So I'm going to get this use selector here, like that, and then I'm going to add it. Let me copy it here, and then I'm going to the app.jsx here, and then I can be able to add it here, like that. And then the other thing is also that I can be able, because this here I'm not going to use dispatch, I'm going to just use selector. So I'm going back to the login here, and I'm going to copy this user here like that, and then I'm going to add it here, and then we can be able now to use this user here to be able to at least make sure that we protect our route. And I want to protect the admin route because you don't need to access the this admin route here if you have not logged in. So protect the route. First of all, I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to add here user dot current user. So that means if we have already logged in, so I can be able to have this logout here, or the layout, sorry. And then after, if I'm going to use navigate. So let me use navigate here, and navigate is from React Router DOM, and then you are going to be navigated to. So here I'm going to be navigated to login/login here like that. So that is okay. Now if I save this and then come back here, you can be able to see because we have not logged in, we cannot now be able to go to the admin dashboard. So if I come to the admin dashboard here, you cannot be able to access because already we have not logged in. But when I add here the email like that, the email and the password, and then add the password here, that means now we can be able to access this admin here. So let me log out, and the last thing that I want us to do in this application is also to make sure that we can be able to add the prospect. So I'm going to come here to the home page, and in this component here for the prospect here, we can be able to use this and correct the information about the prospect. So let's do that. So this is the component that we are calling contact. So I'm going to close this one here, and let me open in my components here. I'm going to open contact, and then here we can be able to add different things. So I think because we had already did that in this page that we are calling a new donor here, we are going to copy almost everything from here because it's just the same thing. So I'm going to actually open, and I'm going to copy here. Actually, I'm going to copy everything here like that. Copy that. I'm going to come here to the contact and paste here up there. And then the other thing that I want to do is have this input here. So I'm going to copy that, and then make sure that I add it. So in this function here. And the other thing is I want to, everything here is the same, so I'm going to copy that and add it here like that. But this time this one will be handle prospect. So handle prospect, and now after here I can be able to add the information here. For example, for the input for the name, I'm going to copy these 3 lines of code here, and then we can be able to copy this and paste it here in the name input. So like that. We are going to copy for the address here. So the name, add value, and then the address here. And we are going to look for the address and then paste it here. And let me also be able to format my code. Let me check for this one here for the phone number. So copy this, and then for the phone number, I think the phone number is right here. Then also let me add this one for the blood group type like that. For select here, blood group type. So here for the select, And what I'm going to do is that, because this is just copy and paste and you already know what you are doing here, so I'm going to pause the video and we are going to continue when I already have completed this copy and paste. Here I have completed everything that we wanted, and now everything is okay. So you can see here I've already added even the toast success, and here the toast dot error or the warning here. The other thing that I wanted us to be able to do is to protect our route in our backend. So what I'm going to do is that I want to show you how to do that. And for example, let's say if we want to add the new donor here. So let me just come to my backend, open my backend here, and I'm going to this routes here. And for the donor, for example, so any route that you want to protect now, because we had already created the middlewares here, and you can see for the middleware here we have different functions. So for example, we have this function for making sure that you verify the token if the token is valid, and also if the token is exist. So I'm going to now come to this routes here for the donor, and let's for example create here for the create donor here. Before you create the donor or call this function, you need to call verify token. So here I can say verify token like that, and I don't want authorization for now, so I can be able to add verify token here. So let me see if I had already exported that. So I can be able to export also the verify token. So verify token like that, and then here in the donors I can be able to get now verify token, so like that. So and then when I save this, and then now let me open on this part here where I have the new donor from our front end. So where we have the front end here, let me go to the new donor, and this is because it's the work of our admin. We need to make sure that the admin is logged in when they are adding the donors to the they are adding donors to the database. So what we are going to do is that we need first of all to get the access token here, or the token. So what we are going to do is to use the use selector. So I'm going to maybe make sure that let me just close this, and then for the login here I want to make sure that I can get now the user. So I'm going to copy this and then copy in the new donor here, make sure that I add it there. I want to remove the use dispatch, and then here I can be able to use the new user, or to get the user using this use selector here. So copy that, and then in here I can be able to use it, and then after that I can be able now to see if, to console log. First of all, the I'm going to console log user dot current user and see how the token is named. So I'm going to actually come here, and the other thing is, let me make sure that I can log in. I've already logged in here to the admin. Let me log in first of all. So let me add my email, and then the other thing is I want to add the password like that. When I log in like that, and then go to the donors, going to the new donors here, let me see the information here. So if you check here for the console log here, let me check for the object, and you can see for the object here we have the access token. We have the information, the email, the name, the role, and then access token. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to now get the access token. Let's see if I do that and then reload again, you can be able to see that Yeah, you can see now we can get this token here. So we need to pass in or send this token when we are now we are adding the donor. So I'm going to make sure that I cross this, and in here in donors here, what we can do when we are actually making the public request here, what we can also make sure that we do here is to add the in our headers. So let's check for the headers. You can see we have headers here, and for the headers here we can be able to pass in the token. Here we need to pass in the token like that, and then because we need to now inside here we need to pass in the backtick. First of all, we need to have the add the bearer here, and then the other thing that we need to do is to pass in now our token. So I'm going to add here the access token. So if you scroll up here, you can take all of this, and then let me delete this one here. And this one, we can be able now to add the access token here like that, as simple as that. So this one means that now you can be able to make this public request because you are passing in the token. And I want to show you why we are adding the bearer here before the token. And that is because if I come back to the backend here and go to the verify token here, you'll be able to see that we need to check here for the if we have any headers. So in the headers, if we have the token, and then after that, that means that we are going to check for the token, and that's why you can see here you are passing it as a token, and then after that you are going to split it into you are going to split using the space, and you can see this is the space that have here. So it will be element 1 and element 2 in the array. So after that, then you can see here verify token, and let me just show you something. So here let me see. So the token, and then here we are going to take now the second element. So when you split using the space, so that means that this bearer here will just be element 0, this one will be element 1. That is means that bearer will be index 0, and this token here will be index 2, and that's why here we are accessing index 2, which is index 1, which is element number 2. So that is it. I wanted to show you right here. And also, if you can come here to the routes and add also other, for example, other you can protect other routes. For example, get all the donors here. You can add verify token for the update here. The only part that you do not need to add the that token or to protect that route is create prospect, because prospect here they can be able to add the information if they have not logged in. And also for the user here, for this one, for login and register, you don't need to add the verify token here or to protect this route, because login and registering doesn't need a person to be already logged in. So I think that makes sense. So the last thing that I'm going to do is to push my code. So this one would be git add, and then git commit here comment, and this one will be finished project like that. And then I can be able to now let me first of all check for the branches. So I'm going to push now origin and then integration like that. And then let me now make sure that I push this. So let me add it here, the passphrase. And now we have already pushed now. So if I come to my GitHub, so here like that, and then we can be able to go to this repo here. I'm going to also repositories, and the repo that we are pushing our code to is this one here. So I'm going to open full stack blood donation application here, and here we'll be able to see notification. So I'm going to compare pull request and pull request here. So it will be able to be checking the compatibility. So I'm going to check to create pull request here. And then the other thing is that it is going to check for ability to merge automatically. And this won't take long. So you can see merge request and confirm merge. So it have merged, and then you can see here it's open. So come here to the insight, and under insight, go to the network, and here you can be able to see how we have make sure that we are creating our project. So you can see the network, how many also commits that we have, or the merging we have done. So that is over. So I don't want this video to be longer than this. I have explained a lot of things in this project. So this project, I have finished it in today's video. So if you have come across any error, or if you want any help, you can kindly contact me and we can solve it together. Or even if you want this project, we can talk about that. Just email me and we'll talk about that. So see you on the other video. Have a great day.